It's 5 o'clock and we are following breaking news this hour. A person is shot downtown. You can see crews there setting up now. We are waiting to hear from police. We do know that one person is shot, and you can see that's the PIO approaching now, Officer Janae Cook. She is expected to give us an update here. Aaliyah Hodges has been on the scene all morning. We'll now take to hear what this update is from IMPD.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Officer Cook with IMPD PIO. Approximately 3:30 this morning, officers were in the area of the 300 block of South Meridian Street. The businesses along Meridian Street had just closed, and there was a large group of people who were making their way towards the parking lots and to their cars. During that time period, one of the officers were sitting back here in the parking lot trying to maintain safety for everyone as they walk to their cars. At one point, shots were fired in the area, specifically on the parking lot, multiple shots. Officers went to aid a victim, an adult male who had apparent gunshot wounds to his body. At this point, we believe that those injuries are non-life threatening. He was transferred, officers placed a tourniquet on his body to prevent additional bleeding. He was then transported to a local hospital for treatment. Like I said, we believe that those injuries at this time are non-life threatening. While the officers were in the area and while the officers were doing that, additional shots were fired. Officers heard the shots and were very nearby. It's still under investigation at this time whether the officers were shot at or whether the shots were just fired very near them. So that's an ongoing investigation at this time. We encourage everybody when they come downtown, always stay safe, always maintain, continue to maintain your social distancing, but also in situations like this where this is a large groups, stay with your friends, get in your vehicles, and go home at night.
I noticed there's multiple vehicles in the parking lot.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I noticed there's multiple vehicles in the parking lot. Were they all involved? Were they all trying against you?
I don't know exactly how many of those vehicles are involved. Some of them may have bullet holes in them, but some of them could still be left over from people who had traveled down here and just never went to get their car.
Janae, you mentioned one officer was in the parking lot?
Correct. There was an officer sitting in the parking lot, observing the crowds as they came down to their cars. As you know, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, this is an active parking lot for people to park in that go to the businesses on Meridian Street.
Janae, you did mention that additional shots were fired and officers were there. Was it here as well, or was it somewhere?
It was right here on this parking lot. So still, the initial shots were fired, and then additional shots were fired as officers were obtaining assistance for that injured person. Any other questions?
Anyone in custody or any suspect descriptions or anything like that?
Not at this time. This is still very, very early on in the investigation. As you can tell, there's multiple officers here that are still maintaining a safety area for anybody who's still walking to their cars. Along with people who were downtown enjoying an evening, there's also workers and business owners that are still walking to their vehicles.
And the victim, I didn't catch, did you say male or female?
As adult male.
Adult male.
Yes, sir.
Is the officer okay?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The officer was not injured during the incident. At this point, like we said, we're still trying to figure out whether he was shot at or whether the shots were fired in the vicinity. So still a situation. Gunfire is the last thing you want to hear. As a police officer, hearing it means somebody is doing something wrong, and you don't know if someone's hurt. You don't know if it's at you. You're trying to figure out what's going on. So there's a lot of activity at one time. No one needs to be coming downtown to the businesses late at night. No one needs to engage in alcohol, the consumption of alcohol, and have a firearm on there. It's not a good match.
Do you think this was more than one shooting incident at the same time, or?
We know that there were multiple shots fired. Whether it was one person or more than one person shooting, that's still to be determined.
Yep. Really large crime scene, lots of markers. Any idea like how many, just like a rough estimate of how many shots were fired? It looked, and it's a big area.
Yeah, as you can tell behind me, you have several markers on the ground. I don't know exactly how many shots were fired. The markers can indicate some type of evidence. So whether or not that's evidence that occurred from tonight or maybe something that was left over, that's still yet to be determined. So we know that there were multiple shots fired. How many is still yet to be determined. Anything else? I don't know yet. This is still, like I said, early on. Crime Lab is here at the scene. They will process the scene. They will go through and collect each one of those shell casings and process them.
Last question today. We saw 2 scooters just isolated in the middle of the parking lot. Is that part of evidence?
It's undetermined. Scooters are very popular downtown. You'll find them all over the place. If the scooters were not picked up properly earlier on in the evening, they might have been secluded and they didn't see them. All right. Thank you.
All right, that was an update from